Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor, and before we start with the really interesting tank stats of the FV205 or the FV217 like we already talked about, I have a quick little note. Again, there is a giveaway going on for two Turan III PT premium tanks. What you have to do, go to the link in the description here, obviously from the video I did yesterday. Do the following stuff here. One is subscribe to my channel, giving you 4 entries, and if you subscribe to my Twitch, you get an additional 3. You have still 8 days to go till the 30th of September, which is also my birthday. Woohoo! And yes, without further ado, let's dive into those stats. And oh boy, we sadly don't really have yet the armor model, but Jesus, like, if you're already looking at the stats, I really think this tank will be not only something remarkably new, but also something really interesting. First of all, it has 2050 hit points, which is, for tier 10 TDs, more or less above average-ish. Why? Because, well, the Foch has 1850, E3 has 2050 as far as I remember, and Jackpan 700 has 2200. First of all, it looks good, especially with this awkwardly looking tank. Then we have the 950 horsepower engine, which is, well, this is actually a rather good value if you do say so myself, especially when you look at the HP to ton ratio. Well, yes, that is a 13.8 HP to ton ratio, and now I want to have a look at the tortoise. Why do I want to have a look at the tortoise? Because Wargaming said they want to replace the 183 with a tank which suits the playstyle of the 82, the 87, the 86, the 87, the 8015, and the tortoise. So there we have this sweet piece of British engineering. What does it have for, well, it's AHP to ton ratio 10.5. Oh, okay, looks like we have a quite nice improvement over there. How does it look further on? Well, maximum speed is 34 kilometers per hour and 12 kilometers backwards. That's pretty darn good if you think about that the whole line is centered about the 2010 top speed and reverse speed. Well, let's put it like that so I can switch a little bit easier. Yes, there we go. Excuse me my little fuck up there. Anywho, the traverse speed stays roughly the same, with the tortoise right now being a little bit better. Horizontal gun traverse length speed is with the tortoise better as well. And fuel range, well, 390. 390 is a good value in my opinion, because if you decide to take vents, tank gun rammer, have a decent enough crew, and get optics, you will have your 445 meters of fuel range, which is a really good attribute to have as a TD on tier 9 or tier 10 respective. And well, here comes the more interesting part. We have 304 frontal armor plus 110 side armor and 31 rear armor. Well, this is something which really shines out in my opinion. Not only does, well, obviously we don't know yet where exactly this armor is laying. Most likely here there will be tons of armor and the lower front plate will be really bad. Why do I think that the lower front plate will be really bad? Because as you can see, the hull looks something like a Conqueror hull or the Super Conqueror hull, right? Well then, just give me a sec. Let's go to the new public test server and have a look at the Super Conqueror, because, well, it's the newest addition to the game with the same looking hull. There. Can you go away? Thank you very much. As you can see, we'll go into the visual model, shortly to load, and we'll see, well, the road wheels really look the same. The same goes for those 4 little plates on the side, as well as those plates down here. And oh, what do we have here? Can you see it? Impact armor 101 millimeters. So if we go back to the collision model, I'm pretty darn sure that this tank in a side scraping position will have strong amounts of armor, because a 101mm side armor, when it's side scraping with those additional fat tracks plus this additional plates here, will be really, really cool. And well, oh, look at that, 38mm in the back. What do we have here? 31. So again, I personally think this tank will have roughly the same armor as a Conqueror when it comes to the side and rear. But now, what is the more important one here? We still don't know how thick those different plates are, and as you can see, it's sadly a really bad picture. I don't know why it's so bad, but yeah, you don't see any cupolas, but you see a rather big lower plate. When we go back again to the visual model, it really looks like this here has the same position as this one. And here comes, I think, the biggest problem with this tank, or like the biggest problem for that tank, but the best possible solution for the game balancing. It has really bad lower armor. This is again my personal opinion and what I think about the new tanks and how those could evolve. So I think this tank will have bad lower plate armor. And with bad, I mean 101mm thick of bad, meaning that the effective armor flops down to around 160mm, meaning tier 6 tank can penetrate those things. But honestly, this is not a bad thing to have, because as you can see, this tank still doesn't really have any cupolas. And where do we have already such a scheme? Where do we have a scheme with a tier 10 TD which has only a lower plate as a real weak spot? Oh yeah, we have the E3. Is it broken as SF? No, not really. Because as soon as you're not hold down, the effective armor got to drop down from around 120 millimeters to 230 millimeters. So yeah, you can see that. And don't forget, this thing has even worse lower hull armor. And don't forget, the newest addition to the tech trees, the WZ has the same scheme. The cupola is really small, not really a weak spot. Well, it is sure of a weak spot, but here we don't have one. This tank has no cupola weak spot, but both of those tanks have really weak lower frontal armor. Well, the WZ has a little bit better, but I think you get the gist. I personally don't have a problem when a tank has really good upper front armor, but a bad lower frontal plate. Why? Because this is then your weak spot. If you play around like Jack Panzer 100, if you stay hold down, you will have a strong tank and people need to shoot gold at you if they want to penetrate, or HE. Sure, it is annoying if some people are shooting gold at you, but in the end, you are playing the tank right. You have a gigantic weak spot frontally, but if you can hide it, it is certain that this tank is strong. And if I think, again, this is a good thing for balancing. And now comes something which is probably a little bit controversial, but oh boy, this will be interesting. It looks like the gun won't be this 183mm gun anymore. It will probably most likely only be reserved to the FV Stage 2 and the FV183 when it will be replaced. It will be a 420 damage gun. Guys, please go get some kush and start to smoke with me, because it's smoke weed every day, because 420 damage. No, the most important thing is that this gun looks like a boosted 120mm gun, which is logical. Why is it logical? The project called FV217, which this tank originally is, has a 120mm gun. So we all know that 122mm guns can do damage between 390, like on the IS and IS6, to 440, like IS4, like 113. So Wargaming can decide to change around a little bit with those damage values. And as you can see, it gets boosted penetration to 272, which is a really good, it's not a best value for every TD, but it's workable if you think about the Foch, which has even worse, or the Object 263, which has 290. So yes, seeing those values of being rather mobile and having strong frontal armor, I don't really have a problem with this bad, in quotation marks, penetration. And don't forget, you have 320 millimeters of premium penetration. And my guess is this tank will have AP, APCR, and hash. Obviously, hash is the same as HE, but the good thing is it's supercharged HE. It has just more penetration. Look at that, 140 millimeters of penetration. This is really, really great in my personal opinion. Because, well, what do you do when you see, for example, a nice little tank called Batshot? Ooh, hey, Batshot, you look really, really cool. I think I'm going to shoot at you with HE. And this will boost your DPM by a lot. And this is where I think this tank will be really, really strong. We all know the Tortoise has the best DPM in the game from all higher tier tanks. Do you think the 183 Stridswagen has better DPM? Loyal watchers, you're wrong. We can even go into the siege mode. You can see nothing changes in the DPM. 3486 against 3500. Maybe, only maybe the AMX 30B has better DPM. Oh, no, not really. So the Tortoise is the king of DPM, and now we'll make the calculations to see if this tank has a better DPM. Well, what do we have? We have 7.1 seconds reload time, meaning 60 divided by 7.1, oh, not 71. We can fix it with this. We have 8.45 shots per minute, being slightly slower as the Tortoise. Well, giving it 420 alpha gives it a DPM of 3550, which is 24 to 25 more of a Tortoise, meaning this tank has the best DPM in the game, with a really accurate gun, 0.3, the same as the Tortoise, an amazing aim time, or 1.7 second, a little bit worse than a Tortoise. And, well, does it have better gun elevation angles than the Tortoise? No, a little bit less. 15 degrees to each side, but 10 degrees up and 10 degrees down and 20 degrees up. Seriously, I think this tank might be borderline OP because right now I don't know how strong real the frontal armor is. But if it is around homogeneous 300 millimeters, then this tank could be borderline OP because it has no more weak spots except for the lower plate. Because when we look at the Tortoise, well, you can see it has a lot of weak spots or a lot of weak positions. Huge cupola, and well, those sides are not really that strong. You can negotiate a lot of that if you usually okay, let's have a look. Around like this, the gun would be looking at us when we side scrape around the corner, meaning this armor would be showing, and as you can see, it's still really not that strong. Sure, this tank can't peek around the corner like this, but yeah, honestly, if this tank has those 300 millimeters or 250 to 300 millimeters frontal armor, and it's homogeneous, not like on the Tortoise, then this tank is borderline OP because it has the only weak spot it has roughly right now would be the lower front plate with 100 millimeters. The best DPM in the game on a rather mobile tank chassis. But well, guys, those are the first super test stats of the FV205 or the FV217. What do you guys think? Write it down in the comment section below. Don't forget to look at the giveaway, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about this tank? Is it borderline OP? Will it fit right in? Will it be a new meta tank? Will you play it in Clan Wars? And as always, thanks for watching and good luck on the battlefield and have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.